in a little tent. And oh, just like the river I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know change will come. Oh, yes it will. Now I've had too much fun living. I'm not afraid to die, 'cause I don't know what's up there, way beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change will come. Oh, yes it will. Now I go to the movies and I go downtown. Somebody keep telling me, don't you hang around. It's been such a long time coming, but I know a change will come. Oh, yes it will. Now I go to my brother. I say, brother, help me please. But he winds up, yes, he winds up knocking me back down on my knees. And there've been times when I thought I wouldn't last for long. Now I know that I am able to carry on. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. Now I go to my brother, yes I do. I say, brother, help me please. But he winds up, yes, he winds up knocking me back down on my knees. And there've been times when I thought I wouldn't last for long. Now I know that I am able to carry on. It's been a long time coming, but I know change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. Thank you.
Thank you, Shem. Thanks, Richard. Today's lesson, a part of the Lenten series, is based on the Journey to Jerusalem piece and will be given by the Reverend Evan Reed. Are you ready?
Yes.
I have to remember to take that last piece out. Are you ready? Because sometimes I'm not. So, I need to do something. Good morning.
Good morning.
As we have been saying, we are following the journey of Jesus of Nazareth from 12 years of age, when he realized what his purpose ought to be, and that is to serve God or to experience a spiritual life. A life where spirit takes over. Therefore, emotions are subsided, and the rational thought that we think is in line with spirit. Jesus spent about 18 years as a student somewhere in the Middle East, trying to get these spiritual gifts in line. We spoke last week about his experience in the wilderness, and we know that the wilderness is a state of confusion, because sometimes we get these breakthroughs of who we are, but the old conditioning breaks through again and tries to pull us down. Sometimes it doesn't matter how spiritual we think we are. Each one has an ego that has been built up with falsehoods about ourselves. That because we were born a certain place, look a certain way, well, we have to be what others say we have to be. And we live in a state of confusion. Until we break past that confusion and establish ourselves for who we really are, each one of us is a fully integrated spiritual being at oneness with spirit. Independent, unique, one of a kind, expressing according to the will of God in us. Jesus came to that point by the river Jordan, but still had but thoughts of himself as lesser than that, seeking power, wanting to control, wanted to be seen of men. And he had to learn to put those down. And once he had put those ego desires down, he began on a journey of spirituality. It said that he began to call forth his spiritual attributes: faith, love, wisdom, power, imagination, understanding, will, order, enthusiasm, renunciation, and life itself. But knowing that we are spiritual beings, we still have that ego part of us that tries to get in the way and causes us to have problems. You know, sometimes we have the breakthrough that, wow, I am the only person in my life capable of making decisions. And having realized that, in the next moment, somebody calls you and asks you to do something that you have no intention to do it, and you do it. Because you want to look good in the eyes of people. Because you're afraid to say yes and afraid to say no. So we say yes with heaviness in our hearts. And we say no with guilt. Well, we know that a double-minded person cannot have peace, because there's always going to be conflict. So we have to begin to retrain ourselves to live a spiritual life. It says in Matthew chapter 5, it says that Jesus, seeing the multitude recognize the amount of thoughts that pass through our minds and beliefs that bring confusion sometimes to us. He went into the mountain. A mountain experience is an experience of prayer and meditation to us. So he goes into a consciousness of oneness with God. And he began from that moment to discipline himself by disciplining his disciples according to Scripture. We say Scripture is a metaphor. So one of the things that we have to do after recognizing our spiritual self is to begin to train ourselves, not to accept that I'm a spiritual being and just go on. We got to do some work on ourselves. So it says that Jesus calls his disciples and he begins to teach them, to discipline them in order to lift his entire self up. All his disciples had to be lifted up. You know how sometimes we lift up love, but another part of us fall down? Hello, no. It's like a petticoat that becomes long, and we try to pull it up, but it still falls. So there are parts of us that keep falling down. Although we lift up this one, when we hitch here, there drops. Goes with pants too. You know, you put on a belt. Richard, you could attest to this, right? Put on your belt, and your waist is not grounded properly, and one of your socks showing, and stuff like that. So we all have that as a natural part of us, that we work with one area, and the others we leave, and then they drag us back down. So we live this life of up and down like a roller coaster. And Jesus realized that all his elements must be disciplined. We have to curtail the work that is selfish, self-importance. I like this word, officiousness. Anything that will prove that we are better than anybody else, we have to release those. Now, somebody is thinking that's not easy to do. It is as easy as you say it is. It is hard as you say it is. Everything comes through practice. So calling forth your disciples, you have to train them over and over and over. So although Jesus trained his disciples in this moment, in his ministry, he had problems with some of them. So your work is not a momentary thing. It's a continuous pattern of lifting up every part of you until that Christ in you fully stands up and takes charge. It goes on to say that he began to teach them, saying, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." To be blessed means to be prospered, to find fulfillment, contentment, to come to a place where you could rest. And he says that being poor in spirit is a requirement. Well, what is being poor in spirit? Poor in spirit is operating without selfishness, without self-grandeur, without looking for praise. When you do things because it's natural, living life without an agenda, that's the poor in spirit. The poor in spirit are those who live their lives as a blessing to others and offer themselves freely without compensation or looking for praise and glory. You know, there are a lot of people who do things just to be recognized. You need a plaque. You need a thank you. And if you don't get it, you walk away mad because you're not recognized. Well, the poor in spirit means those who just do things for the glory of God. God in me celebrates the needs that you have. And because I have what God has given me, I could share them with you. And he went on to say, blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Mourn in this state means for those who can empathize, even with their enemies. So when things are happening with others, we could empathize knowing that these things could happen to us. So we reach out and we comfort, not with sympathy, but with love. You and I are one. And therefore, if you are hurt, I'm also capable of being hurt. And therefore, I need to reach into you to pull you out of that experience of hurt. That's empathy. Then he says, blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. And to inherit the earth means to receive all that is possible for you. And to do that, to be meek means to be teachable, to be open, and to be receptive to the newness around you. Realizing that you have never been to this moment before. And because you're here, there's something you need to learn to go past this moment and not get stuck in it. Because this moment becomes the past. And most of us live in the past, never experiencing now because we become patterns of existence, never opening up our minds because we keep telling ourselves, I know. You see, once you say you know, there is nothing else to know. But when you remain open and receptive, knowing that the universe is infinite and you are finite and you are trying to be infinite, so you need to keep your mind open all the times for the newness that is available. Then he says, and blessed or prospered are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled. This righteousness means truth. Not working by emotion. Not working by what people say. But constantly moving past what was there before to receive something new that could guide you forward. So in other words, he says, Jesus, seek and you shall find. That means all of us should be in a seeking mode. Wherever we are, we should have our minds and our ears and every part of us open to see something that is new that we can use today or the days to come. And always seeking after it. Being excited about life means you're seeing newness wherever you are as you search for the truth of your being, that you can do all things through Christ. When you come to that place to realize there are no problems, just opportunities to find solutions to help you grow. As soon as you say problem, your mind gets stuck. But as soon as you see opportunity to move past where you are, something happens. You get these little light bulb experiences. You get these aha moments as inspiration that has always been flowing through you are recognized by you. He says, blessed are the merciful, those who are compassionate and kind. Jesus gave a story about a man who was traveling and who was ravaged by vagrants. And several religious people passed by and walked on the other side and turned their backs. But a stranger passed by and took care of the person. We need to realize that every human being is a spiritual being. And don't do things because of who people are. Do things because of who you are in alignment with them. This is what it's all about. That God did not create women and men, Africans, Indians, Europeans and Asians and Australians and New Zealanders and Americans. God created humankind. And all of us have the same Creator. And all that the Creator is in all of us. We need to show compassion, to show love wherever we are. Wherever there is love, there can be no war. Because love recognizes oneness and unity. When I see in you myself, and I realize you are one with me, and we are seeking the same thing, things begin to change. And he said, prospered are the pure in heart. What is this pure in heart? Those who operate out of integrity, those who operate out of honesty and sincerity, and give of themselves freely with the kind of purity that is spiritual, that is not emotional. I love you because you are. That's why I love you. I love you because you are God in my midst. I love you for what you bring to me. I don't love you because of your face. No. I love you because you are you. That's the kind of purity that we need. And to see ourselves pure. And don't suffer from, a lot of us have low self-esteem, low self-worth, have no value of self. No. Come to that place of integrity and see yourself as God sees you. There's nothing wrong with me. Everything is right with me. I am the way I am because the laws that govern me now occupy all of me, and I am who I am, pure. Standing in spirit without blemish. The work that God is doing through me is finished. I am perfect, whole, complete. And so are you. Then he says, blessed are those who are not contentious, the peacemakers. Those who come to every situation in peace, establish in peace, and leave with peace. And leave the situation in peace. Not to come and set a war, because there's a war inside of us. We need to establish peace. When our thoughts, our emotions, when spirit, soul, and body become one, and there's one common purpose within us, wherever we go, we will take that with us, and we will establish a presence of peace. Because all the wars around us begin with the wars inside of us. When we learn to clean up our act, the outer world will be cleansed. You have no adversary. Walk with this mantra. I have I have no enemies. I only have friends. So wherever I go, I'm at peace. I'm not afraid. Because, you see, war and tension comes because of fear. And fear comes because of separation. When we don't realize our connectiveness with God and with other people, we feel people don't like us. So we have to war with them. There's one loaf of bread, just cut it in half. And if there are 4 of you, cut it in 4. Selfishness wants us to take the whole loaf, and then we have a war. Come in peace. Just be at peace. Just be peaceful. And then he goes on to say, fulfilled are those who are persecuted, meaning condemned and criticized for seeking the truth. Seeking the truth is not, I'm going to use this word, easy, an easy path, because it is full of criticism and condemnation. Who do you think you are? Do you think you are better than us? No. The wonderful thing about life, you don't have to give any explanation to anybody for how you are living. Live according to the dictates of your mind, and you don't have to give an excuse. If you start giving excuses, that means other people are controlling you. Live knowing who you are. I am an expression of God. I am perfect in this moment. There is nothing wrong with me. I don't have to tell you who I am. If you can't see it, then I am not who I'm pretending to be. Is that good? You like how I am using my scalpel to cut through everything for you this morning? I'm being deliberate. You see, most people don't like change. So when we see people changing in our midst, we condemn them. You do it. And whatever you do, others will do unto you. Do unto others as you would be done by. So when you criticize and condemn and persecute other people, you set the path to be persecuted. And persecution is so simple. You really don't know anything about anybody. So to criticize them and condemn them and to put them down, hello now, is you believe that you are the perfect one and everybody else is wrong. Woo! Hello now. Well, I don't like how you have your hair. And so you come with me with that, I tell you none of your business. Because you don't know who I am, because I don't even know that. I'm still searching to find that. So how could you tell me how I should be? I don't know. When I don't even know, and I'm trying. Criticism is like murdering, and we don't realize that. How many people have criticized you when you were a little child? And it still bears the scars inside of you today. You're afraid to go forth and do what you really want to do inside. I don't know. So most of us have been murdered. And we murder others too. Persecution for righteousness. All I want to do is to be who I am. Hello now. And who I am is none of your business. Hello now. And I could stand tall for who I am because I know that who I am is who I ought to be in this moment. I may change tomorrow, but that is my business. It has nothing to do with you. You like this lesson? Hello now. I took a whole week to prepare this for you. It says, blessed are you when people insult you. Well, some of us are so sensitive that if somebody looks at you, you start looking all over yourself. Something must be wrong. You ever been through that? In not realizing that they love you so much they want to be like you, you start to feel yourself as small, insignificant. So I think that people don't really persecute you. You persecute yourself because of the thoughts that you have about yourself. Because there's nothing that comes from the outside of you is true about you. Nothing that comes through books, through the media, anything that comes through other people to you about you is not true. Hold that to be your truth. And then nobody can persecute you. Because you are all that God is. And if God is absolute good and you are an expression of God, therefore you are absolute good in the way that you are. And when you could reach that point to realize that you stop listening to the race consciousness around you because you have established yourself in a position of knowing who you are. I am monarch of all I survey, and there is nobody outside of me has power over me. I can rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for my reward comes to me every moment. I have peace. Are you peaceful? Don't say yes. This is a rhetorical question, because I know you're saying yes for other people to hear. Examine your heart and see how peaceful you are. Because that's the ultimate goal in life, is to find fulfillment, to be blessed, to be happy, and to be at peace, that you could rest and say, God, I thank you for this moment. Wow! This is how we should be expressing in every moment. When you could sit down and say, all the work I have done have brought me to this place. I could now look around and enjoy myself. If you're not enjoying your life, you got a lot of work to do. And then Jesus said, you know why I'm telling you you need to change? Because these are about building a new set of attitudes to live the Christ life. These are all about building new sets of attitudes to live the Christ life. You know why he told them they need to change their attitudes? Because they are the salt of the earth. Wherever you are important. You are an example that God is here. So if you're an example that God is here and God is absolute good, what should you be doing at all times? Absolute good. You can't react to other people anymore. You have to be proactive. You can't be reacting to how people, what they say, what they look like, you think people think you look like, and all that nonsense. You have to establish a firmness. I am the light of the world. Wherever I am expressing the goodness that I am. I am doing all of this for the glory of God, not for myself. I'm living the Christ life. I'm not doing this to get rewards from you, for you to say, Evan, how nice you look. You don't have to tell me I look nice. I'm naturally nice. And I know that I am nice. I don't need you to affirm that. So I don't do anything for you to tell me that. What I do to show you that when I'm in your presence, I bring goodness. This is living the Christ life. In fact, when I am here, you are not even here with me. If I'm looking for you, that means I am nowhere to be found. I need to be living my life from that Christ state that I could be. This is what Jesus ended this course saying. He says, let your light shine before men that they will see your goodness and celebrate the goodness that is God. And when people criticize you, he says, do this. I didn't come to change anything. I just came to fulfill everything, to be an example. I'm not here to prove anything or to tell you you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. I am here for one thing, to practice being who I am. And now that I have discovered that I am the light, I ain't shining with no 10 watt. I'm shining as a 5,000 watt light. Bright, 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 bright. To help you see the way. And God bless you.
I'm walking in authority, living life without apology. It's not wrong, dear, I belong here, so you might as well get used to me.
My mother may not be the queen, but my father's king of everything. I'm adopted into the family, so I guess that makes me royalty.
And he's giving me dominion, yes. Power over man, them, yes. Everything I do is blessed. He promised me some great success. I am the authority, God of the majority, leader of the VOP. You might as well get used to me. I'm walking in authority. I'm living life without apology. It's not wrong. I belong. So you might as well get used to me. We're children of the Most High God, understanding and believe His word. We never have to beg or plead, for our Father will supply our needs. And He's giving me dominion, yes. Power over man, them, yes. Everything I do is blessed. He promised me some great success. I am the authority, God of the majority, living in my liberty. You might as well get used to me. I'm walking in authority. I'm living life without apology. It's not wrong. I belong. So you might as well
Get used to me.
walking in prosperity. I'm walking in prosperity. I'm living life the way it's meant to be. It's not wrong. I belong. So you might as well. Here we go now. Get something in your hand. 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 walking in authority. I'm living life without apology. It's not wrong. I belong. So you might as well. Let's do this one more time. Here we go. Get something in your hand. 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 Hand wave it to the air. 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 And I said 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You might as well get used to me. I'm walking in authority. I'm living life without apology. It's not wrong. I belong. So you